today we'll be setting up this beauty right here. I've already set her up, that's why I'm hiding her. This is my 3rd year reading journaling. Is that a verb? It is now. So you could say I'm a seasoned reading journaler. If you want, I won't mind. I kept some of the spreads that I really enjoyed making and filling out throughout last year, but I also added a handful of new ones that I'm really excited to share with y'all. All right, I know what y'all are here for. Enough of my rambling. Let's get started. Wait, I need to grab my laptop so I can actually see what I'm doing. Probably one of my biggest tips for journaling is investing in a good quality journal with nice thick paper. I promise it makes a world of a difference. This year I bought mine from Notebook Therapy because Archer and Olive sold out of all their cute ones on Black Friday. The audacity. I have been enjoying this one so far. It seems to be of similar quality, so we're good. First, I started with the cover. I always love personalizing my journal with a variety of bookish stickers that kind of fit the vibe I'm trying to go for. Who is this girl? I don't know, but I want to be her. A lot of these are from Redbubble, the ultimate hub for like any type of sticker. But this cute little book lover heart one is actually from Hannah Elise Co, which she so kindly sent me a while back. I'll link her down below if you want to go support a cute small business. We have a Callaway Couture sticker. Rose, my love. Also from Redbubble. And of course, I'd add these cute little bookish rabbit stickers. Hello, it's me. I've literally added these on every single reading journal I've made. I'm not even joking. Can you see a common theme amongst them? Yeah, 3 years later, I'm still obsessed. All right, the first actual page I made is my title page. Just to, really establish, really nail it into your head that this is indeed my 2024 reading journal. I recently bought some new stamps specifically for this journal. Also from Notebook Therapy, which you'll see me use periodically throughout. I love these little bear stickers I use. They're so cute. I promise I'm not going to be talking about stickers this whole video, though I could, I'm not. I just gotta show you all these. They're kind of sentimental. I know they're just stickers, but they are. I've had these since my childhood. It's kind of astonishing that they're still sticky. Like, they're so old. You can tell, look at the cover. It's so dirty. Because I was a dirty child. No, I'm kidding. I don't know, maybe I was. I don't remember. This next layout is a new one this year. This spread basically just gives a brief overview of my rating system. You're going to see in the footage that I initially spelled reference wrong. I don't know what happened, okay? I felt like an idiot. Look, it was clearly not my smartest moment. I did fix it once I actually reread what I wrote. It turned out though to be a happy accident because I do like the extra dimension the distressed brown paper brings to the spread. It's hard to see what I actually wrote, but basically my 5-star reads are my new all-time favorite, show-stopping, crying, laughing, throwing up favorite books. 4 stars are solid reads. They had a few flaws, but I still enjoyed them. 3 stars are just meh. These novels had multiple aspects that I did not particularly enjoy. 2 stars, in my opinion, are just bad books. And then the 1-star rating is reserved for the novels that need to be introduced to the fire pit. The following page is pretty straightforward. It's my 2024 reading goals. This spread is really just a good way to get me to start thinking about what I want to work on reading-wise over the year. So this year that includes reading 100 books. My same goal as last year, because for me that's definitely challenging, but not to the point where I would have to, sacrifice my social life. I want to read 2 big books a month. What that means is really up to one's discretion. I'm going to say any book over 400 pages is a big book, because hear me out. Some 400-page novels out here are like 18 hours audibly. Make that make sense. I'm looking at you, Gone Girl. No wonder it took me so long to read that book. I also want to read more books that intimidate me, because whenever I read a novel that for one reason or another, I think that I won't be able to read it and understand it, I'm proven wrong. I experience like reader imposter syndrome, which is stupid. I want to always continue to expand my reading and become an even more well-rounded reader by continuing to read diverse authors and genres. I want to finish series. I've never been a binge-a-hold series type of gal, but it's getting kind of ridiculous at this point. And then lastly, I want to reduce my physical TBR. And I'm not delusional, okay? So by that I really mean that I want to read more books off my TBR than I add to it. I feel like that's achievable. It's easy to say now. We'll see what happens. Moving on to the classic bookshelf spread, which I use to track the genres of the books I read throughout the year chronologically. This year I went for a built-in bookshelf with a seat look. Kind of the dream, right? Do you know what would have been one better though? Is if I had added a ladder. Okay, write that down. Remind me to do that next year. Thanks, love y'all. So for the seat cushion, I initially, for some reason, thought it would be a good idea to color it red. To my defense, I thought it was going to be more of a maroon color. It was getting late that day. The creativity had left my brain at this point. So I thought it was a good time to call it and come back to it the next day. As you can see in the footage off camera, I did change it to this green, which is definitely a lot less bam in your face. Also went ahead and drew/colored in the books I had already read this year. And then I made a key, which I was trying to make look like a picture frame. I'm not really sure if it does. Next is my books read spread, another classic. I use this layout to keep track track of my actual ratings for books, as Goodreads still does not allow for half-star ratings. I've gotten asked before how I make these mini books. I'm sorry to say I don't really have a good method to it. What I've done in the past is I would create like a pages document with resized images of the covers, print it off on sticker paper, then cut it out. However, that method is very time consuming, let alone tedious. But since last year I bought a Cricut, I was like, hey, let me use my machine to cut it out. I did not take into account how long it would take me to actually add all the books to the Cricut Maker application, but I digress. But now I have pages and pages and pages of my TBR. Lovely. I am now realizing that I usually write the dates in which I read the books. Whoops, kind of forgot about that. This reading journal is very much so a work in progress. This is just the initial setup. I did leave lots of empty pages for books. If I did my math correctly, there should be room for just over 100. Next, we have my audiobooks read. I don't read a ton of audiobooks, but I like to visually see which novels I listened to over the year. I kind of went for a 70s theme with this record player, which, side note, fairly easy to draw. Coloring it in should have been like kindergarten level easy. No, the acryliograph pins from Archer and Olive are such a pain to use. They're basically just paint pins, so they're very opaque on paper, but they get jammed so easily. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend them. I know they have somewhat recently redesigned them, so maybe they have fixed them so that they're no longer the bane of my existence. I've not tried the new ones yet. I'm open to replacing them if the new ones don't suck. I'm sorry to be mean, but
they caused me a lot of trouble this year.
Anyways, the idea for the spread is that for each audiobook I read, I'll place one of these little record stickers and then write the title in next to it. This next layout is also a new one. I want to read specifically more translated literature over the year, and I know people do like the Around the World challenge where they try to read as many books as they can from different countries. So this spread is kind of inspired by that, but made into a two-part system. Let me explain. On the right, I have a map to show the different locations of the countries I read from by drawing a little star where they are. And then on the left, I left space to make little fake tickets, which in reality is just cardstock made to look somewhat like a ticket, featuring the title of the book along with the author. The little plane you'll see me draw on the ticket is going to match the star on the map to show which ticket correlates to which country. At the time of setting this up, I was actually reading The Dinner by Herman Koch, which was initially written in the Netherlands, so although I hadn't finished it at the time, I just went ahead and made the ticket for it to give you guys an idea of how the spread's going to look. I'm really happy with this one concept-wise. It's one of my favorites this year. The next two spreads I worked on was one for my book club, which I do with a friend of mine, and then one for Books and Lala's Buzzword Readathon. This year I'm doing a monthly buddy read with one of my friends, so I wanted to make a spread that I could look back on to see what we read each month. Don't mind the double trouble part of the title. That's an inside joke, which is a story for another time. For this layout, I decided to make these mini books that open to show the book we read for that month along with our rating. It's currently pretty empty, but hopefully over time, as long as life is not too busy, it'll get more filled in. I've actually never participated in the Buzzword Readathon before, but I love a good challenge and I thought it sounded like fun. If you don't know about this challenge, basically each month has a designated word or theme. So for example, in January, the word is there, or there. And then in February, the theme is positive words. So the idea is that you would try to read a book with something in the title that fulfills that prompt, if that made sense. For the layout, I just wrote all the months down the side along with their correlated prompts. And then on the right, I will eventually fill in with the books I read to fulfill said prompts. I went for a coffee theme for the spread because, you know, you can get buzzed off of coffee and buzzword. If you could not tell, that is supposed to be a coffee bean. Just wanted to clarify that. Thought it was important to clarify. I guess this is the challenge section of my journal because these next two layouts are also along those lines. I did both of these challenges last year and had so much fun partaking in them. We have the A to Z challenge on the left, where you basically try to read as many books as you can that start with the different letters of the alphabet. This challenge is more about filling in as many books as you can rather than completing it fully. So my goal is to just do better than last year, as I still don't know what book I will read for X. And then on the right, we have this year's bingo spread. I decided to go for a candy heart theme. I don't even like candy hearts, but I thought it'd be kind of fun and kind of cute. Some prompts are easier than others. Some I just lightly altered from the year prior so that I will actually be able to complete them this time around. If I must give an example, let's just say I may have included a prompt last year that was to read a book that had more than 750 pages. Yeah, can you guess how well that went? So this year, that prompt is just to read a book over 600 pages. I feel like more books fit that criteria, so I think that's a bit more manageable. Moving on to the 24 books I want to read in 2024. This is also another spread that really just gets me thinking about which books I want to prioritize over the year. And then after I read one of those books, I get to color it in on the spread. So satisfying, right? So that's hopefully a little added incentive. I did include most of the books that I did not get to in my 23 books I want to read in 2023 spread from last year. But then of course I also added to that. So this year I want to read The Book Thief, Bunny, The Perfect Child, The Nightingale, the Mindfuck series, The Godparent Trap, All the Dangerous Things, Twisted Tongues, The Lying Game, Happy Place, Nine Liars, The Collective, The Family Remains, The Hotel Nantucket, The Good Sister, The Fourth Wing, Vow of Thieves, A Curious Beginning, A Man Called Ove, or Uva. I don't know. Check and Mate, The Last House on Needless Street, One of Us is Back, Vengeance of the Pirate Queen, and The First Shot. These are really the books that I don't know when I'm going to get to them, but I want to read sometime in 2024. Next is my series focus / tracker spread. I'm calling it my series focus layout this year because I just included the series that 1, I've already started and want to complete, and 2, that I have at least read 2 or more books from. Looking at this now, I definitely forgot a few, but that is why I left space at the end. I by no means think I'll be finishing all these series in 2024, looking at you, Harry Potter, but hopefully I can check off a good number of these titles, especially the Addicted series. That is the series I've been reading for like 2 years. Why is it taking me so long? You tell me. Next, I love the spread. Something about a book within a book is so meta and I love it. I did something similar last year, but this time I added a few new features. This is how I basically keep track of all the books I own but have not read, aka my TBR. And then once I read a book from my TBR, I can cross it off in my little book within a book. Also very satisfying. All the books are approximately in chronological order so that I can see which books have been sitting on my shelf collecting dust for the longest. Let me tell you, figuring all that out definitely took some mental gymnastics. That was all last year, so I was very glad that this year all I had to do was copy the books that I hadn't crossed off from last year's spread into this one. One of the new features is at the end of the book where I included a separate list for my purchased books so that there's a distinction between the books I already own and the books that I inevitably will purchase this year. I was trying to make the list kind of look like a receipt so that, you know, when you flip to the spread, a little receipt looks like it's sticking out. This next layout is probably my other favorite this year. I always like to have a spread that showcases my favorite novel of each month. So this year I decided to do a Dutch door inspired layout. By the way, this bookish washi tape, I saw it Hobby Lobby and I was like, I have to get that. I have no idea how I will incorporate it, but I'll find a way. It was definitely an impulse buy, but I was like, that is made for a reading journal. That is made for reading journaling. That was made for me. This spread took surprisingly long to do. I swear I watched a whole episode of Big Brother while making this. Yeah, you heard that right. Look, I put it on for some background noise, something that I didn't really need to pay attention to, right? But Big Brother season 6, surprisingly, is kind of good. And I'm not even like a reality TV person or really a TV person. I feel like Big Brother is a show though that after one season, like I'm good. Because I could see how that format could get repetitive pretty quickly. Guess I'm becoming a TV review channel now. Interesting. Welcome to Sarah's Network. What am I doing? Each door I separated into 6 segments, wrote the months down, added a few seasonal stickers. Behind the doors, I'll probably put like a picture of my monthly favorite, maybe a favorite quote as well, we'll see. The last spread I've made so far is the classic book of the year bracket. Oh, that reminds me, I also want to say my 2023 flip through is coming. I actually haven't finished everything I wanted to do in it yet. I have like 4 different layouts that like halfway through, I was like, I'm gonna come back to this later. Surprise, surprise, later hasn't come yet. I'm thinking I'm going to combine that video with a more informative how to set up a reading journal, favorite supplies, tips and tricks type video. I'm not trying to make excuses, but if you do any type of journaling, you would know how time consuming it is. Just doing this initial setup took me over 5 days to do. I mean, I love doing it, so I had fun, but you have to carve out a good chunk of your day to journal, so unless you love doing it, it's probably not the best activity. This is a spread that I probably won't be touching until the end of the year when the playoffs for my favorite book of the year will begin. Okay, let's hop into the flip through portion. Feel free to pause the video at any point to take a closer look at any of the spreads. Of course, over the year, I will continue to fill this in, add more spreads, as I have many empty pages left that would be a shame to let go to waste. Let me know down in the comments your favorite aspect of journaling. For me, I love how it's a creative outlet that is also therapeutic. Making these different layouts also enables me to combine my more analytical, statistical side with my creative side. All right, that is going to be it. I hope you guys enjoyed setting up my 2024 reading journal with me. I hope I did not say 2023 journal at any point in this video because I can see myself making that mistake. Hopefully maybe you got some inspiration for your own journal. If you did and do recreate a similar spread, make sure to tag me on Instagram. I would love to see it. Like, I'd be over the moon. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. It really does help me and my channel out a lot. You can also comment, interact, subscribe, all that fun YouTube stuff. I'd really appreciate it. I hope y'all are having a fantastic day, a fantastic week. I'm wishing you all the best for your reading journaling in 2024, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.